back to the Earthsea Love podcast. This is the first episode in the new season of a new series called Practicing Creative Fugitivity. There's an introduction to this series that was released earlier this week. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it and it'll give you some context. But welcome back. Thank you for your ears and your hearts. And this episode is with the wonderful Pauline Mayers, who was a guest on our podcast in July 2025, episode 081. I know rupture was in the title. Again, I'll leave a link to that last episode. But this conversation, oof, wow. I had so much fun and joy recording this conversation at the time, and then going back and editing and re-listening to it. It gives me great pride and emotion, really, to be sharing it with you now. I always give an introduction to each episode, and I always struggle with what to say, not because we're delivering crap episodes, far from it. It's just because I don't feel that whatever I say in the introductions would do the conversation justice. And this one is a prime example. I just don't want to make a mistake, get it wrong. However, as I've said before, that is part of being human, making those mistakes. First off, this conversation was recorded while the racial smear campaign was happening towards Professor Jason Arday. You will hear it is just at the point where he has resigned. So that means this was recorded before his passing, before his murder, before his lynching. It's not because we've said anything derogatory towards him. We have a whole heap of sadness and anger within this conversation towards what's happening to him and what did happen to him. So we stand by what we said. We are just saddened that it's come to this end where Professor Jason Arday is no longer with us. And something that's been going around with me during this time of rupture, major rupture, and hatred and racism and ugliness, sheer ugliness, even after Jason is no longer with us, there's still people piling on, hounding him. But what I am taking away is the what from Jason's words himself about trying to bring more care, the practice of care into the academy, into society. And when he was asked that question, how would you change the world? He simply said, I'd take a needle and a thread and I'd interweave love into society, that we could get back to kindness, care, compassion, empathy, all of those love ethic qualities. And why I'm saying this is because within this conversation with Pauline Mayers, there is so much care, so much love, so much compassion, so much empathy for Professor Jason Arday, but also for ourselves, for each other. We, in this conversation, validate each other's worth and value. while we talk about our reading of the book Fugitive Feminism, but it goes so much wider than the book. It is such a wide-ranging conversation, and it's full of our wholeness. I mean, it's funny. It's definitely honest. As we've said since we've listened to it again, me and Pauline, we says, oh my God, it's got that fuck you quality. And I stand by that. So in the show notes, there is a trigger warning. There may be swearing. No, there is definitely swearing. Yeah. Because we are just so expressive, and we are unapologetically black women, black creatives in conversation. I know at the time it had a profound effect on me, but while I was editing it, I was editing it during the week, the final week of Professor Jason Arday's life, feeling all the feels that were going on around that. And this conversation held me, fortified me, empowered me while I was out in the world, being the only black face in a sea of white. But that didn't stop me walking out there, shoulders back, head held high, because I might not be seen or looked upon as human, but in our circle, in our realm, we are more than human. We are beyond human. So yeah, we try and keep to the text. And Pauline shares some really good quotes to illustrate our points about politics, about the current news, about economics, about history, about different parts of the world. It is so wide ranging. And it's a case of like, and it's always the case with the Sea Love podcast. It's a conversation between two people that respect and love each other, know each other, but then through the conversation get to know each other even more, deeper, better. And we accept each other in all our fucked up glory. And that is the beauty, the love, and the care. It's unconditional love. Yeah. Me and Pauline, we know we've made mistakes. We've had things that have happened to us. Those are the ruptures. Those are coming up slap face hard against racial capitalism, white supremacy culture. But we're still here. But we still have that foundation of love and care and compassion. So yeah, it gives me so much pleasure and joy and rage, because that is always in there, to share this episode with you. The first in the new series, Practicing Creative Fugitivity. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy it. Leave some comments, share it far and wide. And yeah, until next time, bye for now. Welcome, Pauline, to us. So good to see you. You know what I was thinking also when I was doing the dishes? I do a lot of thinking when I'm with water.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure it's coming up to the first time we met in person. And I don't mean the retreat that we had at the bank holiday Ox, because we met. It might have been just the week before. Or,
I think it was.
face to face. Yeah, because I was in Kiwi. I know I was in Kiwi, and I was coming back from somewhere, and we made that appointment to just meet in Leeds, and it was
That's
hot.
right.
And it was hot, so it's coming up to a year. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if it was just after your birthday or just before. I think it might be just before, because your birthday is next week, isn't it?
it's next week. Not this Monday, coming the Monday after. Yeah, and we met at Bricklebank, which is now gone.
No.
So upset, I can't tell you. Literally, it was there, brilliant, and then literally 2 weeks after we met, it was gone. I
It,
was so upset. It'd been there for 2 years.
and do you know why?
It just happened very, very suddenly. Um, the sense that I got was, of course, capitalism. The area is coming. It's been coming up for quite a long time, but it sounds like there's like maybe one or two groups of people that own all of the land that is
Right.
there,
And
and
that,
so they've been shoving up the price. Yeah, the lease prices,
to get
which
rid of people, if like you can pay it, if you can't pay it, get rid, and then we'll get somebody in who can pay it and even put the prices up even more.
there you go. And because the area is very affluent, when you get up to that size now, we're talking houses above the region of 750 as a start, right? So, you've got multi-million pound houses up there, you
Yeah.
know, and this is an area that campaigned really hard to not have the oldie that is now there because they felt like the shop would bring down
The value,
the VAT. Well, of course they didn't use that.
oh, see, the aesthetic.
There you go.
Oh my
Exactly
God.
that.
I forgot we're all honestly, I have so much anger and rage at the moment. And,
Right.
and it is, in a sense, it is stifling me or strangling me because so that's why I'm really, really, really happy to be talking to you today because this is an outlet. I'm not directing my rage at you.
No, no, no. Oh, listen. Before we go any further, right? Let's just get a few things out the way. We know what we mean by rage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We know what we mean when we're sharing our experiences because we're in community with each other,
Totally.
right? And that's what the book talks about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? There was an instant shorthand that happens
That
because
is,
we know that we're not centering ourselves in the other's experience, which is obviously what the human does.
oh God. And right. I mean, you're already shooting me with wisdom here, honestly. Because it's not centering ourselves in the other's
Mhm.
experience. And yeah, you've mentioned the book, Fugitive Feminism, but I
Yeah.
was just also reading another book this morning, which was like, okay, so step back. Fugitive Feminism, read it a few years ago. It was the only one that was talking about human, non-human, never be human for the Black woman.
Mhm.
And then and then it's like, oh my gosh, it was a truth that hit me in the gut. But then I was just reading this morning, which was, oh, what's it called? Because it was about the Palestinians and it was perfect victims and the politics of appeal. And Mohammed El Kurd, who wrote it, and he's a poet. It's very poetic how he's written it, but it is a case of how we're constantly having to almost like we're born and but we're not human automatically in the
Yeah.
sense we have to be um almost as if we have to be humanized and we can only by humanized we do all the work to try and be humanized but then also there's that external thing be humanized by okay by the qualification that you get or the job that you get and but at the same time you can't be complaining you can't have fangs you can't have rage there we go we can't have rage but I'm jumping ahead I'm jumping ahead it's just, it's just like, it's like, okay, let's talk. Pauline,
Hello.
what brought you to the Practicing Creative Fugitivity project?
Okay. So, God, I'm still thinking about what you just said there, and oh God, there's so much in there. But anyway, okay. So what brought me into it? Obviously, we've had the conversation about rupture,
Yeah,
which we did a beautiful podcast on it, which I still listen back to every so often. It was just so lovely to have that conversation with you. And with that place of rupture, both personally, work-wise, relationship-wise, etc., since then, I've really been looking for a place of community, actually. I've been wanting to find a group that will read such books as Fugitive Feminism, frankly, and will sit and talk about what that book actually is and what it means to each person. I've got like a ton of books, right? No one around me either has the ability to read and then to discuss, or if they do, they're not interested in such books. Right? And I am a really deep thinker. I used to think it was a problem. I am the person who'd be curious enough to kind of go, wait a minute, when you say X, Y, and Z, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? That's me. That I've always been that way. So trying to find a space where this happens naturally and without anybody kind of kicking off at one person or another, because suddenly it's all been becoming personalized, or maybe even not even kind of go delving deeper into a book, which really upsets me when that happens, when it's really surface level. It's been really, really hard, and especially having the focus of Black women. I went out of my way at one point to set up spaces for Black women, but that was not through reading such books as Fugitive Feminism. That was through the shared experience of being Black, or being racialized as Black, I should say, in this society, right? And what that means. And I know that works. I know it works. It works, no problem. But yeah, it's really difficult to find. And what I didn't want to do is then set something up again for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that again. So when you suggested this, I was like, yes, straight away. It made absolute sense to me. And I know that coming together and reading such books, right? Be it an essay or a paper or a book itself, or, what do you think about this? These are all the things that I think helps me to remain centered on me. I wanted a place where I could rest, could reset, I could regroup, I could regenerate and remember. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I would love to say that specific term there is something that I thought, I mean, it is absolutely all these things. But interestingly, as I was reading this book, there's a exhibition that's on at the moment at Lee's Art Gallery, by a woman called Hannah Catherine Jones, right? Called Unearthings. And she's created like a home place, a place where Bell Hooks talks about that, right? A home, right? Where you can go and you can sit down. There's a recording of a soundscape. Created it around kind of her life and the loss of her father. And she uses those words specifically: rest, reset, regroup, regenerate, remember. As I was listening to it, I was like, of course, I mean, that's exactly the work that I've been trying to do. And of course, exactly the work that was then destroyed. So that's why I came to.
Powerful, Pauline, but then also dangerous. Dangerous to have, those 5 R's like you said:
Yeah.
rest, reset,
That's right. Regroup.
regroup,
Mm-hmm.
regenerate,
That's right.
remember.
Uh-huh.
Those are powerful for us,
Boom.
but are perceived and acted upon as dangerous
Uh-huh.
and not something to be encouraged or highlighted
Absolutely.
from the outside.
Yeah, because of course it directly is a challenge to dominant culture. Directly.
Directly, directly. And I think it's something that's come up and it is in the book, and it's that refusal.
Mm.
And even if it's not an active refusal, like saying, no, I'm not going to do that, partaking in those 5 R's is, in a sense, refusing the dominant culture,
It is literally that.
the dominant narrative, the usual narrative, the historical colonial narrative that is continuing to be fed and regurgitated and morphed in the sense to keep maintaining itself while things and circumstances and ways of living change, but it keeps maintaining itself. So yeah. Oh
I mean,
God.
it maintains itself across the board, right? I mean, the whole point is that Black women are supposed to be the mammies raising up the white children. We're supposed to be working, working, working and not have any rest or ever have any imagination or ever have any sense of dreaming. Those are the, do you know what I mean? Those are not
Oh my
meant to be for us, yeah? That's supposed to be for our white counterparts. That's who it's supposed to be for.
God. Oh my gosh. You just like yesterday, right? Got into the sea, went for a coffee, haven't really been around people,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
In, having my coffee, do my visual journaling, and there's a white little kid, a white little boy in front of me. And I can see out the corner of my eye, he's clocked me, so he's playing, looking at me, playing, looking at me, wanting my attention,
There you go.
giving my attention, but I look up and his mum's giving me daggers, yeah? Now, it can be because she thinks I'm so fucking beautiful and she needs to keep her eyes on me. Or it could be she's a bit miffed because I'm not giving her son the attention that he's looking for. I'm not going, oh my gosh, you're so lovely. Are you cute? What do you want from me? What can I give you? How can I, inconvenience and make myself uncomfortable to make you uncomfortable, you little cherub. But I could be projecting, I could have issues, I could be, just
Yeah, but let's look at it from the other perspective. Yeah. Black women, in terms of European thought, have always been seen as safe. When enslavement was happening 400 or 500 years ago, yeah,
Mhm.
and you had white women disclosing to black women
Mm.
because they were using them,
Oh gosh.
right? I'm not only going to run you ragged into the ground, I'm not only going to accuse you of sleeping with my husband,
Mhm.
I'm also going to make you my confidant. That I'm going to tell my kids that you must come to.
Mm.
Yeah. You are the person who is going to teach my kids how not to be racist. I've literally had that before. So we are the people who are safe,
Right.
right?
Right.
Unless we challenge dominant culture.
Then
Right.
angry, we're aggressive,
Right.
ungrateful, we're non-human.
There you go. And just on that, I just think it's really important to highlight this, okay? It is everywhere. The understanding that we are the people who come in to help when there's a problem
Oh my gosh.
and back up white people, right? So this morning, I should say, okay, I'm a sci-fi head. I love my sci-fi. There are many problems with sci-fi, but at the moment, I'm watching X-Men 97, okay?
Okay.
Love it, okay? Absolutely love it. There is what is termed in terms of the comic books an omega level goddess called Storm.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the comics, she has taken over the X-Men and led them, right? Because Professor Xavier, who put them all together, was like, girl, I trust you.
Yeah.
You look after everybody. She runs the school. She's been Queen of Wakanda. She's been married to T'Challa. I'm talking mega. I mean, this woman is off the Richter scale. When it's omega level, that is powerful, the most powerful mutant ever. She's an African goddess. On top of that, she is so much bigger than anything. They haven't put her and Thor together in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because, and this is true, they didn't want to have two gods going on, right? Two gods. So Thor is the god of thunder, but that's what he does. He can do thunder and lightning. Fine. This woman can control the elements. This woman can use her magic. More powerful even than Doctor Strange. X-Men 97, second season. Why have they relegated this woman? They've relegated her to the back of the queue. Like, we haven't seen this girl. Now, we're on episode 8. Haven't really seen her since the first 2 episodes. She's coming on this episode, right? There's a big dirty ass fight. And she's like, right, okay, let's go. That's the only reason why she's there. She's only there to back up the white people who are fighting with each other. And then there's no sign of her after that.
Yeah, man.
This is why it's so endemic. It's endemic. It is everywhere. It's in soaps. It's in TV shows. It's in documentaries. It's in films.
Kamala Harris.
Boom. Boom.
107 days to get to the presidency because Joe Biden was humming and hawing, not wanting to step down. Democrats not moving in, whatever. So yeah, come on in, save the day. Let's get the presidency. Let's get her. Oh, it doesn't happen. Well, it's because of her.
There you go.
Because of her, she wasn't doing enough for black people. She wasn't doing enough. Fuck off, man. You bring her in to save the day, and she doesn't save it. If she'd saved the day, it was like, oh my gosh, that's great. If she hadn't saved the day, oh, it's on her. It's she just wasn't appealing to them. Not like racist, sexist society that we're fucking well in, and people would rather vote for a pedo, an orange fucking baby in a diaper, than get a competent, intelligent black brown woman who would get the job done. I mean, I'm not putting everything on her. She has her issues around Israel and Palestine, etc. She has an issue about law and order, but at the same time, they'd rather vote for him against their own interests, really. And now they're coming out and saying we're suffering. We should have voted for Kamala. Oh my God.
I take no notice of I take no notice. I take no damn notice.
Well,
because
I like that because she instilled hope in me. I was on the bandwagon. I was so hopeful. But yeah, I don't know if it was a case of like the last hurrah before and I'm not even going to say we went into the dark ages because I refuse to use that language of dark, bad, light, good, dark, evil, darkness. Dark is non-human. Let's get back to that. So we are reading. You have read. It doesn't matter if you haven't read the whole thing.
I have that. I read it. I finished it. I finished it 2 days ago. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's a quick read. But I say a quick read, but that does not dismiss the power of it. Yeah. So you've read it by yourself, but we are reading it in community. How is that, what's the difference? What you're feeling? What's coming up? Like you're reading it by yourself, and then we're sharing that reading in community.
I'm really loving the reading in community, right? I'm really good at being able to read something and then summarize it and kind of distill it. Okay. But in order for me to develop, I need to have those other people around me who are also reading it and wanting to develop. Okay. Yeah. And to do so in a really safe environment. There is no sense of one-upmanship and somebody thinking, oh, I know more than this than you do. All of that bollocks is not present.
Yeah.
And it's not present because we've all experienced it. We've all been the people that has been at the, the person who actually knows exactly what they're talking about. But oh, look, we're going to ignore you and listen to the person who said exactly the same damn thing as you did 2 seconds ago. And because they've got white skin, oh my God, it looks amazing. Let's talk about it. Right? We've all been there. Right? We've all got very different experiences. We come from very different places. But the one thing that does unite us all is that we are considered non-human other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is about being a non-human other is, she says it. Where she says it? I think she said it. Oh God, where do I need to find it, because when I read it, I was like, boom, that's what I refuse to do. I know you like the word refusal.
I do.
You do. I know. We'll come on. It's on page 88.
Okay.
And it's at the top, right?
Yeah.
And it's about the rejection of human. Okay. And she says there is deep grief in giving up and losing faith in being human, the dominant model for how to be in this world. This is the important bit. We mourn because the highest ideals of humanity are, at their core, based on the suffering and the immiseration of others. And I had to look up that word. Yeah. Immiseration. Right? I looked it up and I was like, damn it, that's what it is. It is, you deliberately are causing misery on others. Deliberately so. That's the whole idea of immiseration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a psychic attack with these people.
Yeah, man.
At every level. And so reading in community with others who are also considered non-human other means we strip that nonsense out, because because we're already just coming together. We do is already refusing the idea of being human.
Yeah.
Causing the suffering and misery in others. That right there, NASA. I realized throughout my entire life I have refused that.
Yeah.
And yet that's the same thing that people around me have constantly tried to belittle me with.
Yeah, man. Even that simple question of, are you lost? Are you in the right place? Just that simple question is, you're saying to me that I don't belong here. I'm not supposed to be here. You're not questioning anyone else who is here.
That's right.
Same questions. So why are you coming up on me? It's not because I'm wearing a red dress. Again, are you reading into it? Why are you always playing the race card?
Let me tell you something, right? The people who have always talked about race, white men, always. From the Enlightenment period during the 17th and 18th centuries, right? With Carl Linnaeus trying to do the classification of plants and fauna and all kind of nonsense, classifications that we are still living with right now. All of that, that was the beginnings of scientific racism.
Totally.
Right? These people have been talking about all of this from then.
And they're still talking about it.
Boom.
They're still up in our business.
If they can't own you or own your idea, they will come and destroy you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what is happening at this moment with Jason Arday?
Listen, I read today that the man resigns. Yeah?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's resigned.
Oh.
With immediate effect.
Oh, fucking
now,
hell.
the thing I'm so mad about that one. Bearing in mind, I have all kinds of problems anyway in terms of PhD, but anyway, that's a whole other thing, which we may well come to, right? The thing that gets me the most about all of this, how the backside is it possible that the white man who fed Jason's work into this indicator this plagiarism indicator, is the same backside person that Cambridge, I think it's Cambridge, stacked for being racist.
No, it is. He has put it out there. He has said, like, if we were something about the low IQ of Black people, really. He said
Yes, he said that.
no place within the university setting, and
Or
and
anywhere.
bringing down the standard. So they don't actually. That's it. They don't actually question his motivations.
Which is obvious.
Yeah. Or his credentials or anything like, or him as a person. With what's happening with our day is okay, the questioning his work, but then they're also questioning him as a human being or his person, his being. Yeah, it's not just about his work now. It's like, oh my gosh, he said this, he said that, oh,
Yeah.
he's done this and he's done that. And obviously, he's a DEI hire. I mean, that's how he got his job. Obviously, and so like what's happening in the university, they're just lowering the standards of intellectualism, the whole shebang. So the whole thing is brought into question, the university establishment, because he got a job and he was so young, and but also he's Black and he's autistic and all this fucking jazz,
Let
right?
me tell you something about that racist ass piece of shit that brought it up in the first place.
Yeah,
Sour grapes march. You got the sack. So now you're upset. So now you're throwing all kinds of accusations at the one person who had nothing to do with you.
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. They don't go for the system. They don't go for the establishment. They don't go for the institute. No, let's just go for that individual who's standing there doing their own thing, who's standing in for everything. Jealousy.
White dominant culture will always demonize a black body. If a one white, it doesn't matter who that white person is, you know. That white person could be a pedophile.
We know that. We know that.
Throw a barb at a black person, and dominant culture goes, let's go for that person over there.
Exactly. And it comes back to that perfect victim. We are never, you know, we, Black, brown bodies,
Yeah.
Palestinian people, because, they are people, we can't just call them the Palestinians, they are Palestinian people. And we forget that, we forget that. But we're not supposed to forget that. We're not supposed to be looking at them or us as human. We are non-human others, as it keeps
Yeah.
it in the book. So let's just think, if we are non-human others, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? Because you mentioned that in the book,
Mm.
a deep grief and losing faith.
Yes.
For me, when I first read it, and it was near the beginning of it, when she says you're gonna have to, you're just gonna have to,
Suck it up, bitch.
Black women can never be human. And and for me, first reading that, it was like I was so upset. I was so I fought it. Even though I knew it was the truth, I fought it because
Why
I
did you fight it?
because one, probably because I'd spent all of my life up until that point trying to prove my humanity, trying
Mm.
to be accepted and loved as like, look,
Mm.
feel I bleed. I'm just like you, wanting to be accepted. And at the same time, being a human or humanity, it's put on a fucking pedestal. It is always there. Not it's unwritten or unsaid, but it's always something that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get that label of cross, like, I am a human. If you think about it, in the past, they're going around with their placards, I am a man, because of the dehumanization of us. So it's a case of like, that's the only thing that it's we're given, in a
Mm.
sense. You know,
Mm.
just do this, toe the line, keep your mouth shut, don't get angry, get the job, and then you will achieve being a human, knowing fair and well we never will be because the system's rigged and the hierarchies, like we're never going to get there. But I still held out that I am. If I just work hard enough, if I just bite my tongue,
Mm.
if I just smile enough, I will reach it.
Where do you think that comes from?
Socialization, education, family, religion, media, literature. It's all out there. It's all we were fed. We were fed these lies and fictions, and it's presented as the real and reality. And I take it on board, and also there's like these concentric rings that go out from the individual.
Mm.
There's, and I'm not going on the inside here because
Mhm.
but then closely in my family, they might say, oh, we've got to try and fit in, be
Mhm.
quiet, don't answer back, that sort of thing. Then
Mhm.
also you see it in the actions. Maybe it's the straightening of the hair, maybe it's like lightening of the skin, maybe it is when they're talking to people being the butt of the joke instead of, so we
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it so many different ways played out and acted out and
Mm.
said or not said within our close proximity family. And
Yeah.
next step is, okay, when we go to school and we might be the only black kid, me, I was the only black kid, say, in the class, and maybe saying to her, and she says it in there, she's the, that experience, saying to her teacher, or they call me a nasty name,
Mhm.
at the time for me, it might have been Darky or Packy, and like, oh, just forget about it, just don't listen to them, just move on, like
Mhm.
pushing off. So getting that idea, that feeling that, okay, how I feel or how I think doesn't matter. And
Mm.
that just builds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to, so then it has been, when you talk about your rupture, and it was my rupture. I mean, I was on the path, but it was my rupture that stripped everything away from me to,
Mm.
and I had to go within and start listening to that wisdom within that was saying, you're not broken, you're not worthless, you're not ugly, you're not unlovable. You
Mm.
just have to do it yourself. You just have to be there for yourself, Cherie. And then
Mm.
take that, what's inside, and put it out into the world and
Mm.
not give a fuck. Not give a fuck how it's received. Because that's
Mm.
not why you're doing it. That's not what you're being here for. So it was all a performance before then. And then since that rupture, it's been like, it's just like, it's me. I'm just being me. Deal with it.
Mm.
If you can't, just fuck off.
Yeah.
Just fuck off.
But reading that you are non-human other and there is nothing you can do about that still brought grief to you, right?
No. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But I mean, but for, it wasn't long. I mean, obviously it's a practice, but then
Mm.
it was the case of like, it was freeing to know
Mm.
that, because of all that time and energy and tension that was being feeded in to, and we could say like, to that relationship, or to that meeting, say, if we're looking at the
Mm.
Bible, but then it goes into the whole system. And it was just like, okay, it's like it was freeing. It's like, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to bend over backwards anymore. I don't have to hurt myself anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then it was like, okay, then. So it was then feeding my imagination or feeding my dreams. It's like, oh, I'm not, and then it's not a case like I'm actively looking for another term to put on myself. I'm just living and breathing and playing in the possibilities.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to take off the human or trying to achieve a human by trying to achieve something else. Then all I'm doing is looking towards that rather than being in the now and relishing in the now and the pleasure, joy.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
So that was me. What about you? About you and
I mean,
not another.
I mean, thank you so much for saying that because I think for me this is what fugitive feminism is about,
Mm.
right? It is about that sharing space to do two things, I think. One is to affirm and acknowledge,
Mm.
and two is to let go,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
and I think it's so important that we have this kind of space to be able to do those things,
Mm.
you know? Um, when it comes down to being non-human other, I mean, I, I didn't have a problem with it.
Oh.
I'll be really frank, right? In my life, the amount of times that has come up for me, Oh,
Mm.
you're black. You'll never be a dancer,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
right? Or there's no way that you could have gone to a ballet school. Okay.
I'm sorry for laughing. I'm
It's
sorry
true.
for
It's wild, but true.
faced audacity. This is where the rage comes, because and I'm not gonna get personal in the sense because like something just happened with my daughter
Hmm.
and somebody came in and said to her along the lines like, well, I think I've got a right for you to reply to me. I'm not going into the details, but and she was talking to me and a friend. We were on a three-way conversation saying like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And she was saying, I don't want to get in a confrontation, da-da-da-da-da-da. And she goes, right, you speak first, mum. And all I could say is like, who the fuck do they think they are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do they think they are? And she's going, all right, okay, I thought you were going to come in a little bit more gently. And and I says, no, I just think, who the fuck do they think they are to think that it's that sense of entitlement,
Exactly.
that sense of entitlement that well, I think I've got a right, to get a reply or to respond. It's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't.
Absolutely.
No, you don't. You're just like, but for me, then that's me seeing that her so-called friends don't value her, don't see her
Right.
as a human being.
And that right there, what you said right there is at the crux of these humans calling others non-human others.
Yeah, of treating them that way.
Just last week, literally last week, I was at a premiere for a show. Fine. I'm sat next to somebody. This person was part of a group of people who had all gone to this show. White woman. All of a sudden, she reaches up like this, and I feel a tap on my head, and I literally turn to her and I say, "Did you just touch my hair?" She went, "Oh yeah, I do that with everybody." And I said to her, that's a straight up lie. I said, there is no way that you're going around and touching people that you've just met on the head. You're treating me like I'm some sort of pet. It's weird. Stop it. And she wanted to come back, and I said, don't even try. Do not even try. I said to her, you are the third person to have done that to me tonight. And I'm not putting up with it. It's odd behavior. You need to go away and sort it out. Before you start, I'm not angry and I'm not shouting at you. I just think it's weird. Go away and sort it out. I'm not having it.
No, good for you for doing it and calling her out on it. What do you think she's gonna go away and say?
I don't get. Can I be really frank? I don't give a everything. I couldn't care less.
And that that is refusing. That is being
If
having
you,
and acting and living within that fugitive attitude and spirit.
there is nothing more dangerous than a person who has disinvested themselves from dominant culture.
But you become a what is it, a pariah. You become you become I'm not saying you, but in general.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But then again, I have been an untouchable in that sense. But
Oh, I'm an untouchable right now. What do you mean?
you become that lone figure, that
Yes.
lone wolf that is,
Mhm.
classed as weird or
Yep.
crazy, or we want
Yep.
nothing to do with
Or
her.
angry
Yeah,
or not pleasant.
I
Or
was like,
listen,
it's
I've had
catching.
it.
It's
I've
almost
literally
like you
had
have
it.
it's catching. It's like,
I literally had it, right? There was a point in time, right, where all of a sudden my name is on all of these humans' lips.
mm,
Yeah?
yeah,
And
yeah.
everywhere I'm going, I'm thinking, what is going on? They're all talking amongst themselves. Oh, that Pauline, she's awful. Oh, that Pauline is. And I was like, huh. And it came back, it literally came back to this is how wild it is. The whole thing came back to me.
Mm.
It was said back to my face by a human
We have
who didn't even realize they were talking about me.
oof, oof,
Right?
oof, 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 oof.
They're describing the situation, going, "Oh, well, this person's like this, and this person's like this," and I'm thinking, "Wait a minute, that just sounds like." And I said, "Okay, let me just, can I just ask a question? Like, was this person an ex-dancer?" "Yeah." "Okay." And well, like, what kind of shows did this person do? "Oh, she seems to be everywhere. I don't understand what she does. She seems to be everywhere." And I was like, "Okay, interesting." So you know that you're talking about me, number one, because that's who you're talking about, and number two, all the people that you've mentioned, I've never worked with them. I don't even know who they are. They're all chatting the whole heap of ass shit and talking as if they know me. I didn't know these people.
Oh,
I'm getting name after name. I'm thinking, who are these? I don't even know who you are. These people are running their own companies. They're running their own projects. They're doing all sorts. And I'm like, but why have you got my name on your damn lips?
okay, I might not know you, but I know your type. That is what they'd say, if you came
Let me tell you something. Round here, it's not even that. They are talking as if they know me. I am literally like, the reason why it doesn't happen anymore because I disinvested myself from close to every single one of them. No, I'm not dealing with you.
No.
You lot have problems. Yeah. When that rupture happened last 3 years ago, the one thing that I took away from that is the only way you're going to give me a job is if you dictate the terms.
Always.
Okay? The
Always.
only way I'm going to have a job is if I help support you and your dreams.
Always.
The only way that I'm going to have a job from you is if I put myself on the back seat and be the mammy and
Yes.
be the educator and be the
Always.
mentor.
Always.
And to make matters worse, I can't even do my own goddamn work
Mm,
because you don't want me to lead.
mm-mm,
So
mm-mm.
you know what? Leave me alone. You all made it very fucking clear. You all make it obvious. You all talk amongst yourselves. You all hang out with yourselves. You've always considered me as non-human other, and you patted me on the head, and you wanted to touch my skin. All kind of nonsense. So yeah, non-human other makes sense to me.
Yeah. Let's just keep our distance then.
Yeah, but does anyone want you to do that?
No,
Because they're narcissistic. They need to have
all up,
the attention.
all up in your business. Have your attention, and you can't have anything that's your own. I mean, and I think this is something that you were alluding to before we started the conversation. Okay, so we know this group was created out of a need and a want and desire of my own. I read this book, set off fireworks. Thank you, Dal, for introducing it to me. Dal Kulak, we'll be listening to her, talking to her later. And it was like, oh my gosh, for my development, for my learning, for my moving forward, I need to be reading and talking about this book in community. So we got funding from the Arts Council England to do this, not a lot, but enough to pay time. And again, it's not a lot. So it had to be created because I couldn't find it. Yeah, we couldn't find it, these safe spaces to have these conversations. And part of that funding, there has to be outcomes or outputs, even when it's a research and development section, but there has to be something to show for the money that we're giving you,
Yeah.
to still perform. So we've got these conversations. Hopefully we're making a zine, fugitivity manifesto, outputs, outcomes that I've agreed to in receipt of this. But there's a worry. There is a worry when we share these conversations, when we share our learning, that it can be not just misconstrued, but also taken, run with, co-opted even,
Yeah.
and regurgitated and passed off as somebody else's.
Absolutely.
Is this something that you're worried about or have considered?
Oh no, it's happened with me,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which is why I disinvested myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How am I talking to you? You don't have a goddamn clue about any of this stuff. I'm here talking to you on a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and take your human self,
Mm-hmm.
you repackage what I've said, and you go speak and you go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact you've got no idea what you've been talking about.
Yeah. She's not
This has happened,
people. She's not talking about this in general you.
right? And not even come back and cite where you got the information from.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time being my open self
Mm.
and found that humans only sought to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
extract a sense of status,
Mm.
extract a sense of I'm not a racist, extract a sense of education,
Mm-hmm.
extract a sense of artistry, all of which were not theirs, but was mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Literally stealing my ideas in my damn face. And the one element that they couldn't do, they brought me in to do, thinking I'm not going to put two and two together.
Mm-hmm.
So you think I'm also, I'm intelligent, but also dumb as fuck. These people will literally look on your social media. They will see what you are writing. They'll go, oh, they'll write that shit down and they'll pass it off as theirs to someone else. There's a term, enlightenment. I've already used it. Enlightenment period. Okay. One of my ex-human friends started started spouting this at one point. I was like, oh, that's a really interesting word. And it's like, yeah. I thought about it and it's really great. And it's like, yeah, because during that period of enlightenment, that's what they were doing. I was like, okay. Why is it when I looked it up,
Mm-hmm.
comes from a man called Charles Lamart. And he coined it a good few years ago. But you're going to come to me with your deceitful mouth,
Mm-hmm.
tell me something that you've stolen,
Yeah.
then at the drop of a hat. It is in their DNA.
Yeah. And hearing this, and we've talked about Jason Arday, and people know my history, and it's making me, and I'll be honest, I'm feeling uncomfortable here because it has been thrown at me that I have stolen other people's work,
Mm-hmm.
passed it off as my own. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details. I took responsibility for mistakes that I had made. But because that is in my history, it almost gives people a right to keep throwing it at me, keep judging me in that way. But then also, if I'm calling out other people for saying, that's stolen, you need to cite Black women, you need to spread it. It's because it's coming from me. It's like it's that what if sort of thing. It's like, well, what is it like? You got no legs to stand on. You can't,
Mm-hmm.
and it for me, it's a practice that is continuous. Like, it was like I was already working from a weak position being a Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
but to have, that title put upon me, it's just I've given them more ammunition to use against me. It's like, well, what the fuck? Because you could say not actually addressing their own behaviors and their own actions and own practices, but instead projecting it onto me. It's like, well, what the fuck have you got to say about it? Man, you do it, you've done it. Do you know that sort of thing? It's
I
like
do.
it's
I
just
do.
so like, it's still it's like, somebody reached out today and said, I'm reaching out. they've couched it in another way. I'm also reaching out because of Jason Arday, and so, and it could be a case of like, all right, I appreciate that. I said, it's really nice, but then also it's like I'm still viewed in that way also.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing. I know you're thinking about my well-being, but it's interesting when that comes up. Oh yeah, maybe it's because I'm, the closest thing that they've got to this sort of scandal. I don't know what the
A and B, let me just listen. Black women can't make mistakes,
never, never,
right? Black women can never,
never.
ever a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
You will become an instant pariah as soon as you make that mistake.
always.
The fallacy is in not making mistakes that you won't be a pariah because you still are.
Still are.
Whether you inadvertently do something or not,
Yeah,
you're already a pariah. When we look at reform, okay, political party,
yeah,
and they spent all of their time going at Angela Rayner because she didn't because she was advised, she didn't put forward she had a particular house somewhere, something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tax, whatever. Yeah,
And reform went, look at you. Look at what you're doing. You're trying to rip off the taxpayer. Look at what you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Scroll on 2 years later. Why is it that three of the top officials, including the leader of reform, have all been investigated by the Parliamentary Standards Commission because all of them accepted money and didn't damn well claim it? He was dealing with a 40 grand house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They were dealing with £5 million.
yeah.
And now you're trying to run away from the fact that you took that money and you took that money from somebody who then bankrolled your political party.
No,
And that's not being looked at. Don't
Pauline,
listen.
stop it now. Stop it. It's the press. Brian, he's had so many threats on his life. The money,
Listen.
the security going forward. But
Right.
this is the media always coming to break down his character. He's the victim here. So
But
forget
listen, but listen,
Pauline.
even that thing of like people are coming to be awful. Weren't you the same person during the riots of last year and the year before? Were you not the same person literally saying you got to go and take your country back? Were you not the same person saying that you should be standing outside of a hotel where there's asylum seekers and demand? Weren't you the same person who actually had Elon Musk come to your goddamn gathering that you had in London last year and tell them you have to fight to get your? Were you not the same body?
No, he's the same person who had the woman who was put into prison for that tweet that was inciting. Burn down the hotels, burn down. And she went to prison and she's back out. And wasn't she at their party conference coming out to fireworks in a fucking suit? She's a hero, man.
They literally said she is the one person that we should look to in terms of fighting for free speech.
So
Are you out of your listen? Don't get me started. So all of this, I'm saying all of this, right, to show the hypocrisy of it.
it's a hypocrisy, but it's one rule for them and one rule for us. As
Always has been.
we can't make mistakes. We have to be squeaky clean. And even if we are squeaky clean, we're still not enough or human or
Can't make a mistake, right? And you can't be angry and you can't be full of rage, right?
no,
You
no.
can't turn around and tell somebody that you're being goddamn well racist when they actually are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't.
You can't turn around and say, actually, this is misogyny while that's going on. When you're talking to me like this, it's misogyny and you're being anti-black.
Stop
But
being
you
so
can't talk about these things.
That's another way of shutting you up. Stop being so sensitive. Or don't even talk to me like that. You're raising your voice. Just calm down. No, engage with what I'm saying, what the argument is. Please. No, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you like this. And I'm going to start crying because you're hurting my feelings.
How dare you then? How dare you then decide when a black woman should be a pariah for making a mistake and when they're not
No.
making a mistake? How dare you be the arbiter of that?
Okay, so this leads on to the next one. Do
Mhm.
you think it is possible to decenter the human? Because we've been talking, we're non-human other. Then we're also bestowing upon these monsters, we could say,
Yeah.
or ugly, ugly ass people inside and out. Yeah, that they're human. Is there any room here of taking back the human and redefining it? Really, there should be care, there should be kindness, respect, or should we just, like, as we say within this book, just like decenter the human? Is it possible to do that?
I've been thinking about this quite a lot. The biggest problem is
Yeah.
that we are living in capitalist central 101. Practically every system that we have in terms of government, in terms of social policy, in terms of education, housing, policing, welfare, health, every single system is rigged against us. But we have no choice but to engage with those systems in order to live.
Yeah.
We have to find ways of being able to keep the roofs over our heads,
Ugh, always.
right? We have to find ways of being able to pay when emergencies come up.
Ugh, yeah.
We have to be able to find ways to pay the bills. But we are living in a very, very unequal society where we are always going to be considered non-human other.
In,
Is it possible to decenter in that space? I would say no. I think it's possible to decenter as much as you can, the person, but to truly be a fugitive, I
yeah.
think we need to leave. I do. I think we need to leave. But then the question becomes, where can we go
Where
where
we
we can? Right.
where we going? Well, I'm putting it into you. Okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to my backyard and hang out with my plants. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go into my visual journal and
Yeah.
pour out my whatever. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get into Kiwi and I'm gonna park up on a mountain. You
Yeah.
know, these for me are ways that I am feeding my fugitivity or my leaving or my, yeah, divesting. I'm resting. I'm on hiatus. I'm not answering your phone calls. I'm not asking responding to emails. I'm not doing your jobs for you. I'm resting. Fuck off. That is that, because I totally agree with you. It is, you can't do it within this system, like wholeheartedly, whole body, whole shebang, leave unless, and that's it, because I've got these privileges. I've got a backyard. I've got a van I can get off to. I've got some money that I can get my paints and my dirt. You know, you have to have certain privileges. You have to have a certain, well, I say it, in the past it was um a level in your bank account to be doing that. You have to have something, in order to have that level of freedom or enact a fugitive spirit to a
Well,
certain degree.
okay. So, God, there's so much to unpick with this. Oh my God, there's so much. There's so much. Oh my God. I think you're absolutely right. We can find those times of home place.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Be in an hour or 2 hours, maybe in as much as 7 days if you can go off and do whatever. Yeah. We can find that. We can find these spaces, walking out in nature, walking out as a hike.
I say also, you're saying find, I also say create.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I absolutely agree with that. I ride my bike. I've not ridden on my bike now for the last 3 years. 3 years, right? At one point, I was always on my bike, always going everywhere. Okay? And the bike needed fixing, so I went and took it to a co-op rather than a proper bike place, right? And they came and they fixed my bike, and it was great. And the one thing that I think about, because I was thinking to myself, that costs a lot of damn money. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. I literally don't have anything. I'm not like, how these people, how humans often say when they say, I've got no money, I've got no money, but actually they've got 50 grand, 60 grand in their goddamn account.
Yeah. And they've got
Yeah.
some property.
Oh, property, they've got things that can sell, they've got value, they've got shares, they've got all this. Right.
Yeah, man.
I literally don't have any money.
I hear you.
I don't have anything. Okay. And I don't even have a job. Okay. Even though there was no reason for me to not be in work. I don't have a job. Fine. Okay. The one thing that I was thinking about when I took my bike in and spending this, it was for me a sizable chunk of money. And I remember thinking, but I'm determined to make this work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I realized is by me getting my bike fixed, it means I'm future-proofing my joy. Right?
Yeah.
When things get really bad, I have the opportunity and the freedom to jump on my bike, and I already know that I can cycle an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where I am.
Yeah.
And be in a space where I don't have to deal with anybody. I can come back to myself. I can regenerate. I can rest. I can remember. And also really feel joyful and be in joy. Because we know that, when you're human, you need to invest in the suffering and the misery of others.
Yeah.
Right? You have to invest in that in order to be human. So if I now find my own joy, that in itself is a radical act, right? In itself, in the space that I inhabit, which is full of rage, if I'm going to be frank, absolute rage, for me to be able to escape and find those elements of joy is vital. That home place is vital. This book group that we're doing is vital. So at the same time as, I totally believe it is impossible to completely decenter the human as long as we are in this society, knowing full well that certainly across Europe, certainly across Africa, certainly in the UK, certainly in the USA, anywhere where Europeans touched, it's all going to be centered on this idea of being human.
It equals whiteness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So what we're talking about here is maybe the question is different.
Yeah.
Is it possible to decenter the human for X amount of time? Or where can we decenter the human?
Yes. Time, where, and that is us using our imagination. It
Boom.
is moving into that speculative space, which you're already in there if you're reading sci-fi. If you're in there with your, your Avengers and your X-Men. So you're already living there. And that, in a sense, is a lifeline, is a lifeline now, but also for that future proofing. Well,
yeah.
And I love that. I love everything that you just said there. Yeah. It's so fucking rich, and we're over our hour here, but I know we have.
And just on that. Sorry to interrupt, but just on that, the one thing that being human is all about is about that time constraint.
Well, time, colonial construct.
Yeah, it's all about that. Oh wait, it's 12:30. We've got to stop the conversation. Really? Why?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, right? When they were discussing being enlightened, right, and they were setting up the universities during the 17th, 18th, and into the 19th century, when you had these white scholars, men, sitting down and discussing for hours their theories, were they thinking about time?
No.
Do you I mean? When you had the Industrial Revolution, that, by the way, could only happen because Henry Court stole the process from Jamaicans, African Jamaicans, enslaved people, right? Yeah, and brought it to the UK and went, oh, look, I found a way of doing of using metal.
And I did. And I clever.
And I clever. No, you stole it. What the hell? Do you think that man sat there with enslaved Africans and went, okay, it's 5 o'clock, you've got to stop now? Do you think that happened?
No. And that is something that I've been sitting with, because when we gather, it's an hour and a half as the group, you know what I mean? It is what we're doing there with the group. Okay, we've got that time constraint and then also the money constraint. I can only say, but it is a case of like, it's creating that pocket of freedom, that pocket of...
That's the point, exactly right. And that right there is the point. Yeah. That's why it's impossible to descend to the human where we are.
Yeah.
Right? What you can create is a boundary time.
Yeah. A boundary time, space and place and...
Exactly right.
Imagination. I mean, but that's it. Our imaginations cannot be bounded, but we've allowed it to be bounded. And because
it's got no choice. It's an interesting one because I know, for instance, with the group, I am more than happy. In fact, I would love it if we just continued with or without money. I don't really give a shit. I don't care.
I have put that out. I
know. And that's why I'm raising it now, because I want everybody to know I am going to be part of that because it's feeding me.
Yeah, man.
And it's enabling me to understand that I am in community with others who think like me. Because in my life, where I am, it is literally me on my own.
Me too.
Right? And there is not, as you know, there's nothing more debilitating than thinking all these things and looking around you. Nobody else is thinking the same way. And anybody who may look like you might not even think the same way. And it's just like, what is happening? Like, you can easily go mad. Right?
Easily.
Right. You know, and the thing is that thing of community. That thing of community came up for me when we had the pandemic just 6 years ago. And so there was a group called Safe Spaces for Black Women, who I will always have the deepest gratitude for. Because being in community with a group of women, we were having therapy sessions, well, therapy, but it was actually peer support, right? For 2 years straight, right? 3 times a week for 2 years straight. No money was passed, right? Talking to Black women from all over the world, quite literally, because it was all done via Zoom. America, all over the UK, all over Europe, coming together. We had a set of guidelines that were always that was always read out. And then we operated within those guidelines. And the unity that came about, all of us had our own very different kind of challenges. We all had our musings. You know, we talked about all sorts. I mean, all sorts. But it was like, oh my God, is that what we're talking about today? Oh, cool. It was the most beautiful space ever. And I credit that for me having been able to sit in my sanity now from being betrayed so badly 3 years ago to now, because I remember that space and I remember I'm not the only one that's gone through this.
Yeah. You're not alone.
Exactly. Space of being in community with others. Yes, it has to be boundaried. Okay, fine. It has to be boundaried. We can't be talking all day. If you talk all day, how are you going to earn your living? How are you going to eat? How are you going to, So there has to be some form of boundary. But that is not the reason why we should not meet.
No.
And if a conversation is so enriching to us all, then let's agree. Okay, fine. I know it's supposed to finish at 8. Let's agree we finish at 8:15. Right? We can. It's our group. We can change those elements.
we've mentioned contention outside, but is there anything coming up in the book that is contentious, or things that you're having difficulty coming to terms with or to agree with? You know, is there anything that is niggling you a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there absolutely is. I need to see if I can find it. Damn it. I knew I should have picked this up. Oh wait, there was a point, where Imajulu was talking to her lecturers, and she really loved the philosophers, right? So it's Kant and Emmanuel, all these people, right?
Yeah.
But she was deeply troubled by the amount of people that she was reading. It's on page 95. But she just talked about this also a bit earlier in the book, where she's like, it's brilliant reading, essentially reading Plato and Aristotle and Hume and Locke and Leibniz and all these amazing people, Sartre and all this. This is all great. But she says, I remember asking my professor why we should take Aristotle seriously when he argued that women and slaves did not have souls. And she says, my concerns were not ignored by my professor, and neither were they dismissed. Rather, I was appealed to and seduced to put aside my minor critiques of these great men and focus instead on the beauty of their writing and the expansiveness of their ideas. Black women, I was told, could be read back into Plato or Locke or Hegel, because these theorists were invoking a universal truth that included everyone, not just white men. The fact that she then had to go on and read people like Hooks and Davis and Giovanni and Collins and the Combahee River Collective. It's over the next page. This is page 95 to 96. She had to specifically take Black feminist literature classes in her third and fourth years, be finally introduced to all these people, in order to unmoor herself from humanity. Now, the thing that I find is so upsetting, and it's probably down to my thing, is the sense of, I'm going to preface this by saying I have not gone to university. I don't come from that place. I tried once to do an MA and failed miserably, not because of me, but because the course was so fucking bad they closed it. And it goes back to what you were saying, you're being told, particularly as a Black woman, that you have to go and get the qualifications, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to go and do all this in order to raise the status. That status is absolutely what I'm completely surrounded by, constantly. If we know that the master's tools cannot dismantle the master's house, we also know that feminism started because it was done in people's homes, not in the universities, right? And I think I raised it at the last session that we had. It's like, brilliant reading all of this, fabulous, right? I mean, everybody else here, fabulous. But how is this now going to be applied to the woman that works in Aldi, or the woman who's working in a care home and is being shouted at, or the nurse that's in a hospital and is constantly having racial.
Now,
right.
The patients are refusing to be cared for by Black and brown hands.
There we go. Right. How?
There's white hands coming.
There we go. Right. How do we talk about this to others? Because this can't just be a space for people for whom they would go and read this anyway.
On about the book here.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As with most things, like, when I was trying to look up the enlightenment term, it's completely gatekept. There is not a single thing that I can access as a Joe Blogess on the street. I can't access it. I have to have gone to university or have access to university portal. for me, this is the most upsetting thing about this book, right?
Mm.
It's something that came up for me again when I was Dr. Kehendy Andrews,
Oh yeah.
and he had the book, he had the film about Malcolm X, right? And he came to Leeds, and so he's talking about, yeah, we've got to do this and we've got to do that, and blah blah blah. And I said to him, this is really great, but you continuously talk about young people, and you continuously talk as if the only way to do this actually is to be in communion or community with people who have got PhDs or MAs or BAs. So what does that mean for me?
Mm.
Because I believe in all of this stuff. I believe in what you're saying. But if the only way that I can access it
Mm.
is to go to university, that's it. What are we doing?
And also, that isn't even a safe space.
Exactly. Right. So
That
where
is
then is, do you know what I mean? Like,
exact exploit.
yeah. Like, what is the way to do this? Like in Leeds, for instance, there's the radical lending library that we've got here. They put on a number of sessions. Black feminist group from London, I think they are. They've come up and done a number of sessions. And what I've found has been really upsetting about those places, again, it's been done within the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And fine, they are going to places where there's general public, but 9 times out of 10, I'm the only one that's in there. A, older, which is insane, and B, doesn't have a qualification to my name outside of anecdotal, outside of, reading, because I do a lot of reading. And then how am I then to being taken seriously within those spaces?
Oh, but again, what you just said, taken seriously. But then also, if you voice some, it's very condescending. It's very hierarchical, elitist. And again, who are you?
Yeah,
Who are you?
right. So then, coming back to this book, great, fabulous, but where is this information going?
Where do you want it to go? What do
What,
you do?
what,
You answer those questions.
I,
I could,
listen,
I have answered. I could answer them or how, um, because I've got all the qualifications,
mm,
but for me, I don't do my work in the university. I don't mess in that environment. If I
yeah,
go in, it's to agitate, and it is to agitate, and then I skip out. It's a case of like I don't look upon them as bestowing status on
mm-hmm,
me of uplifting my words, my
mm-hmm,
thinking, anything like that. And I don't know if it's because I never felt that I fit in that space. I didn't feel that I was accepted in that space. Maybe because I had to fight. And I just thought, what is the point? I don't I don't put it on that ivory. I don't put it on that pedestal or it's the ivory tower. It's just like, to me, you just people that are talking amongst yourself and bigging each other up,
yeah,
and then also competing against each other, because you're like, there isn't, I don't think there's that companionship or that collaboration. It is like, fucking hell, look at me and I agree. And it is the individual. And that is part of the system. It's so part of the system, university. And to say that that's where the free thinkers are, it's like, it's a fucking joke. It's
exactly, right. And but also, I actually wrote it. I actually wrote it down. The academy, being in the academy, is the hero's journey,
mm, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
that you go out, you go on this big quest. Okay, I've got this big question that I want to answer. Okay, fine, big question. Okay, I do all this reading. I do all this reading. I go down this hole. I go down that hole. I'm finding all these little avenues. Okay, fine. And now I've got this thing, and I come back, and then the reward that I have is this big whatever it is.
yeah. But what the fuck?
But exactly
Just what the fuck, man? Because it's not real life, as you're saying.
right.
But that is part of the construct, that we're
Mm-hmm.
fed these lies and fiction as if it's real life, but it's not my real life. It's not my reality. And
Mm-hmm.
I really question, is it your reality? Is it,
Well,
the like, you know, these white working class people. Oh, is it your reality? Really? Really? Because it's not. And that is what we're constantly hitting against. It's like,
That,
where I'm telling you, this is my reality, this is my experience. It's like, well, you're wrong, or you're making that up, or
yes,
that's not the case.
exactly right.
And then you're going to be start telling me my experience. Have you walked in my shoes? Well, no, you're wrong. You've got that wrong. Oh, no, no. So it is. It's that's what we're living in.
Yeah.
Living in that construction, and people are just taking it on board that it is the reality, but it's not the reality. So how do we bring it into our realities, our real lives in our day to day? And I think
Ex-
we've already touched upon it, but
mhm,
I'm asking you now that question because
mhm.
I don't want you to be. I don't want you to be going away after reading it and feeling and thinking that it can't be translated or moved into your reality, not
I
mine.
mean, so it's interesting because I think there's kind of to me there's two things going on in my brain. There's what does this book mean to me and how am I living it? And then there is how am I then uh, passing on that way of being
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with people around me. Right. So there's those two very distinct things. This conversation here is the first big conversation that I've had, any kind of conversation that I've had
yeah.
outside of doing this premiere thing in 3 weeks.
Mm, mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, because I literally don't speak to anyone else.
Yeah. I concur.
Right.
I
Right. Um, what I do, sorry, makes my word makes me laugh. But what I do is um speaking to the woman last week who put her hand in my hair and telling her straight.
yeah.
I wouldn't have done that 3 years ago.
Mhm.
I would have crumbled 3 years ago. When certain behaviors happen, I use the development I have in myself now, extraordinarily boundaried, the understanding that everything that I had done previously was actually trying to find a home place and never finding it. And then realizing I can't find home if my heart is broken.
Mm.
It's not possible. So, what does that mean? Is it a physical space? No. Is it even in community? Sort of. Well, that home place has to be me.
Yes.
It's the
Oh my goodness.
only constant that I have,
Yeah.
right? And so, if that's the case, I need to make sure that my home place, who I am and what I'm about, is my home place.
Mhm.
And that's how I walk when I go out there.
And it's safe. It
Exactly right.
has to be safe. And we can put in that home place, but how we have to also protect that. You know,
Exactly right.
we talked about it. I'm protecting my peace, where we've talked about that before, how we walk out there with your
Yeah.
headphones on. It's like,
Yes.
get out my fucking face,
And
man.
people still want to come and
Yeah, man, because again, we've talked about it. It's repeated, but it needs repeating.
yeah,
They want a piece of you. They want to get in your space. You are not entitled to have your own sovereignty, your own home place. You
right.
direct all your attention and energy onto this white human being, onto this. Give me your eyes, give me your heart, give me your hands, give me your everything. Give me your fucking everything.
But that thing, it comes back to what you said about refusal. And
Yeah.
Emma Julie talks about it in the book, that it is about conserving energy,
Oh God, yes.
right?
Yes.
Refusal is more than just saying no.
Mm, true.
Yeah.
True.
It's about you have an a finite period, a finite time on this earth.
Yes.
All do.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
To spend every waking moment focused on the human when you've only got X amount of time in your life? How are you dreaming? Where are you doing the dreaming? Where are you doing the thinking work? Where are you as a philosopher? Because we all are.
Mhm. But also, where are you in your wholeness?
Exactly.
Expressing all the feelings. Anyone listening to this conversation, they will hopefully go away with our wholeness of our being,
Mhm.
about the expression of so many emotion. And where can we be in our wholeness?
Right.
Because it's not allowed. We're not allowed to be in our wholeness. We have to be that caricature. We have to be that stereotype. We have to be what they want us, centered in their own experiences. They want us to see or they want us to be.
Yes.
But that's what we can be when we got our home place,
Hmm.
it is. I made that realization a while ago that I was searching for home. I was searching for that place to belong and be myself. And I realized it's me, it's
Hmm.
in me, always has to be me. My home is my body and me inside my body. And it is. And it is like whenever I go, wherever I go, I'm taking me with me. So it doesn't matter if you do not recognize me. I recognize myself in this other space, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm just me. You know. So
I'm good. I'm me. And also, me being me is not taken away from you being you.
never. But that is what we're accused of. You
Always,
said I'm
always.
being me with my headphones walking out. That's not taking anything away from you. So get out of my face, man. Get out of my business.
Exactly right.
I'm taking up my own space. I'm not taking up any of your space. So step up off me, man.
Leave me the F alone.
I'm not bothering you. I'm not giving you cut eye. I'm not doing any, I'm not speaking to you. It's like, so why? I just saw on the TV a man sitting out in the pool with his two lads and a white Karen coming up.
Oh.
Got ID. Can I see your ID? How are you
Ah!
for being here? He says, I'm at the pool. Who comes down to the pool with the fucking ID? Are you asking anyone else around here for that ID? There's plenty. All right, I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police on you. It's like, so he's filming it all, and he's poor one of his sons saying, like, just show your ID, daddy. Show your ID. He says, no. He says, it is a traumatic experience, isn't it? This is a learning experience. And he says, but you got to learn that, they can't come upon you like this and ask for your business. And so afterwards, the little guy's saying, is like, even though that people come up on you and they're ignorant, doesn't mean you have to be ignorant towards them. So even in that situation, we're still having to be the better human being. The
Oh no, I'm not better. Mm-mm, I'm not better. I dropped that shit.
Oh no, I know, oh no, I've
But
dropped.
no, no, but I think it's important to say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know you know this, but it's important to say that,
yeah,
right? Because, and it goes back to being non-human other.
yeah, 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 yeah,
When
yeah.
you are non-human other, you cannot be yourself. There is no physical way you
Yeah,
can be yourself. Being yourself in and of itself is subversive,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
what we're talking about here, we're fundamentally talking about nourishing one beautiful mind, our own.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. And that is still not allowed, not accepted. Question.
They can say what they like.
And I know, but
And they do.
I'm just saying that because that is like, but I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. What we do on a day-to-day, moment to moment, pocket to pocket is a practice.
Yes.
A practice.
Hmm.
Because we've had that unlearning. You talk about Emma Chulu talking about reading Aristotle and then having to go and re-educate herself to read the Black feminists. And this is what we're doing within our day to day, not even about our learning or education. It is a case of we have been educated and socialized into racial capitalism, and that we are taking on board or have internalized our subordination, our inferiority, our bestiality. And at the same time, we have to practice and push back against that. That is happening within us all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm too fat, or I'm too dark, or my lips are too thick, or I can't possibly do that job because I'm not intelligent. It's like it's a fucking battle all the time, internal, external, external. That's why practice, but also why rest is important, why we find those pockets of fugitivity, why we have to, what we got, rest, reset, regroup, regenerate, and remember.
Do you know there's a mom, there's a meme, right? Where there's two guys and they're sitting down and one person must have said something and they're like they're like
and the shoes come off the on the ground.
Just all of what you said there, we need to clip it and put it everywhere. I almost jumped out of my seat, go, praise me.
We're not religious. We're not religious because we know what religion is. We know what religion is.
Absolutely. Well, we're spiritual people. We're spiritual people.
We are such spiritual people.
Girl, you just said it all there.
That is a good place to wind it up, I think. This has been, oh my gosh, I so needed this. You said you haven't spoken to somebody like this in 3 weeks, and I have to concur with that. I do have to concur for that because it's not happening in my immediate environment. It's not happening in my face-to-face. So I really appreciate this space and this time and this conversation, this connection. I so appreciate it, Pauline. I appreciate you, who you be. Yeah, but I also appreciate what you bring to the table, this conversation and beyond. And I'm so pleased that we can continue our reading journey together because, it started all about love, which was a year ago nearly at the end of August when we says, let's make that commitment, walking through Hampsley Forest. Yeah, man, let's be accountable,
What's really beautiful about our relationship, right? And it's so important, that thing of remembering, creating new memories to replace the trauma.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
That's what's so beautiful. Like we can literally go, oh yeah, remember when we did that zine session?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or going or meeting at Bristolbag, or going off to Hampsley Forest, or meeting up and talking about all about love. And this, like, and I've got my I will show, they won't be able to see this, but I'm going to show you that I've been doing my own little kind of majorly zine to try to expel the ruptures in my life, right? And anyway, there's all sorts in there. We can point to this incredible wealth of new memory,
man,
and new being together.
Yes.
I am
an archive. It's a living fucking archive. It's beautiful, fucking beautiful. But we've created it. We have our hands in it, all up in it, and that's what's so beautiful. Yeah. Oh, come on, that's fugitivity to the max.
Right there.
Yeah, man. Pauline, thank you so
much. Thank you so much, Cherie. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
As always.
As always.
Yeah. All right then.